Hello everyone, welcome again. So today we are going to discuss how business analysts are the Cape Crusaders, the superheroes of the business community, of the entire industry. We'll start with a very interesting story. So there was a book which was published back in 1776 called The Wealth of the Nations by Adam Smith. It's a very good book, everyone must read this book. So in this book, Adam Smith described an 18-step process of manufacturing pins, right from pouring the molten metal into molds, bleaching the pins, attaching the heads. He described the 18-step process. So his conclusion was, if the labor is divided into different processes, into different different parts of the process, they could achieve producing about 4,800 pins in a day against barely one pin if one person is doing the entire cycle. So before this process, before this analysis, what happened was one person would put the molten metal into a mold, would take it out, would follow the entire 18 process, would finish it, would bleach it, would attach the head, and then a pin would be complete in about a day's time. Now with this analysis, they increased the number from 1 to 4,800 per labor. The concept was called division of labor. In today's terminology, we'll call Adam Smith one of the most successful business analysts. Now with what we have learned in the previous lesson, let's try and understand how he might have done it. So he would have received data, how much is the productivity of the employees. So one person is producing one pin a day. What all is he doing in that process? So he understood there are 18 steps involved in getting a pin out of the factory. Now he would have done his analysis to figure out that if one person does one particular set of tasks, he can achieve much more than one person doing the entire set of things. That was the analysis and the end result. This is a typical example of business analysis. As we have discussed previously, it's about turning information into insights, into actionable insights. Today, in today's day and age, it can be, the same data can be analyzed with multiple tools. Predictive analytics, artificial intelligence, quantitative analytics, just data visualization, simple as that. Or it can go as far as computer coding. End result is to create a story out of that data. A business analyst is the bridge, is the source of communication between the technical centers of the organization and the business, the leadership. The software programmers, the data engineers are the technical core, technical engine of a company. And they basically, and more often than not, they do not understand the language used by the business management. Now, this is the role of business analysis, to help them understand what is the requirement from the business side. In turn, they help analyze the data and bring it to a normal communication language which can be understood again by the business people. This is the summary of the work which is done by business analysts. But there are a lot of processes involved, there are a lot of tools involved, there are a lot of techniques involved. And they all need to be understood for you to make the informed decision. If you do not know all the tools, all the technologies, all the techniques that are required to produce that result, to produce that story, you might use a wrong technique, you might use a wrong analysis, and again, produce wrong results. Taking another example from a book called Predicting Trends and Building Strategies for Consumer Engagement in Retail Environment, a long name. Data analytics is what Walmart used with help of Google and they projected that if they bring down their free shipping from $50 to $35, they could experience a huge increase in sales, not in just in online sales, but also in-store purchases. Data analytics is what they used to calculate the optimum cashbacks on the company's own credit cards, which which actually resulted in a lot more consumer traffic and consumer purchases from their website, Walmart.com. This is another example. What happened in 1776, the Adam Smith analysis, is what we could call big data analytics in those days. But in 21st century today, it is much more difficult, much more complex, and much more effort driven. Another great quality of a business analyst is good communication, because day in and day out you're meeting with people, you're discussing their problems, you're brainstorming the solutions, you're pivoting from your actual solution that you might have envisioned, or you might be doing an analysis with people, you might be doing a brainstorming session, or a number of other techniques that could be used to come to the right solution. Now, you need to be an effective communicator. Over and above effective communication bit, what you also need to have as a tool, or as one of the basic needs to become a business analyst, is to have rudimentary knowledge of the industry that you're in. Even the basic knowledge helps you understand what are the pain points, what are the problems, how and what approach can be taken to solve them. This part just tells you about how important the role of business analyst is in the entire cycle of a business, in the lifeline of a business. Next, what we are going to discuss is it still viable? With the new trends coming in, with the new ways of creating solutions coming in, agile for that matter. If you see an agile chart, if you see agile teams, you would not see the basic concept of a business analyst on a team there. Are they still relevant in today's day and age in the agile environment? Even though in most of the companies' hierarchy charts that you see in today's agile day and agile methodology day and age, you do not find a role for business analyst. Are they not required then? On the contrary, they are more required in the agile methodology. They are the key factors when it comes to facilitating a dialogue between the customer and the team. They are main support for the product owner's decision-making process altogether. And they are required to analyze gaps and impacts of whatever is being done by the team in delivering the project or delivering a product. So instead of becoming redundant, they have become, or we have become, a lot more required in the process of creating a solution in the agile methodology. In the agile world, the business analyst aim should be to help the agile teams and product owners analyze the business domain thoroughly and answer the questions to help them understand the business process. Once that analysis is done, once that is understood, he needs to ask these questions as to what processes needs to be revisited, added, deleted, what needs to be done to make them more lean, more efficient. Then they need to understand which stakeholders are important in the decision-making process. Whose opinion matters more than the others? There would be different stakeholders who would have different share of values in the entire decision-making process. So that is the job of a business analyst, to understand who is more important, who should be listened to more, and whose negative outlook of the project might sink the entire project down. Further, they need to understand what information is needed to derive the right conclusion, to get the project up and running and to run the project smoothly. Where can they get this information? What should be the key metrics to measure people, to measure outcome of a product, a user story, things like those. So they are still relevant. We are still required.